Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you. One post here, it says, what can I do to be supportive or helpful of my partner? Hi, everyone. My partner is a 20-year-old male, just got diagnosed with epilepsy. I was there for his first seizure, and now with his diagnosis confirmed, I wonder what I could do to help him emotionally and how to be physically supportive too. Any suggestions or tips would help me out heaps, and he's quite upset about it. And while I can't fix it, I can make the transition easier. Thank you, everyone. How that person wants to be cared for could be a personal thing. Could be. That's just me. How I like to be someone to be helpful, just be there. Just be there. You don't have to have your hand in everything. Just being there while I'm recouping during seizures, and maybe, I don't know, if he sees you care, look up some stuff. Like, oh, I looked up this. I want to be helpful. If you want to be helpful, just basically learn more about it and be there. You don't have to have your hand in everything, because that can get frustrating. When someone who's not your parents try to have their hand and foot in everything you're doing. Yeah, you don't want to ruin your relationship, but yeah, don't be afraid to ask what's going on or how's the person feeling. Yeah, we're fighting to not be a burden, so we're trying not to feel like a burden.
I mean, be around is important, but something that I found difficult was, and is, people who care and whose like personal means of expressing their care, their love, being, wanting to help and do things and fix things for it, I mean, you can't fix this for me. It's just what's happening, so being around and being available, I found more comforting than being like actively going and trying to do everything and trying to fix the problem of epilepsy for me. But then it's also probably, in that sense, it's just as much their adjustment to this new norm, and they're trying to deal with the significant change to the life of a loved one, a person that they care about, and that, I don't know, I found difficult to strike a balance between those two, but I mean, be around, ask them what they need. And if there's no actual specific need, then, just hang out. If they need to talk, they'll do it in their own time. But if it's something they're still dealing with, then you can't fix their psychological processing of this new diagnosis. That's something that has to come within for them. So that would be my suggestion, keep it simple, just ask them.
But I'll read one of the many few questions. One says, deja vu at night. Has anyone experienced deja vu at night? Like, I woke up 2 times in the past few days of deja vu. Like, I'm having deja vu in my dreams, a deja vu of a dream I'm dreaming, and then I wake up. I don't know if this is normal or not. I don't have any other symptoms other than the deja vu, and I don't feel or know if I dream about it because I'm thinking so much about deja vu these days. Deja vu in my not at the nighttime is possible. In my sleep, I would not know. I haven't went through the spells of deja vu, so I would not know. But I assume it would be very much possible at nighttime. But sleep itself, I'd have to ask somebody like Toaster.
Yeah, toaster would be a good one. I don't know. I don't get strong deja vu. I get these weird, like, frequently in the evenings around, around an hour or two before I go to bed, I usually get these sort of brief flashbacks of or memories of what I think what feels like at the time of a memory of the dream that I had the night before. And I'm not sure if it's actually that dream or if I'm just thinking that. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why. But yeah. Um it's not deja vu. I don't feel like that exact situation that I've been in that place and time has happened before, but flashbacks of like that dream it feels like it should be in the same category of,
Um,
memory glitches, weirdness sort of stuff.
There's one comment here while you're
I
thinking.
think that was Deja Renee. I think Toaster was trying to explain it to me at one time because there was times in like where I went to somewhere where I never been at before, but I felt like I've been here before or I dreamed it before or something like that. But my epilepsy won't let me remember if I dreamed it. But yeah.
I've had some situations that I've tried to remember, even if it was a dream or not.
Yeah. That's happened.
Yeah, that's what I could say I had. I've had some thoughts where I'm like, was this a dream or was I thinking that it was a dream and just lost and all over the place, body confused, mind confused. And then I move on after a while.
You
But
ever had a dream? You ever had a dream where you thought you had a seizure?
a dream where I had a seizure? Yes.
Thought you had a seizure.
Thought I had a
When
seizure?
you had a nightmare?
In the dream, you thought you had a seizure.
Um,
Odd.
Like I was like outside my own head in the. Hmm?
like thought in the dream that you had, like thought, or like dreams that you had a seizure? Like,
That's the weirdness of dreams, because they're chronologically weird. Like you
yeah,
think you think, did I have a seizure? And then, or I don't know. It's all mixed up, and it's more or less the fear that I had a seizure, and very hard to explain. It's a strange dimension. It's seizure dreams. Yeah.
I've had dreams where I felt like, well, actually, that wouldn't count then. I've had times where I felt like I had a seizure. Um, did I feel like it was in the dream? I've had dreams that I knew that the dream I was having a seizure, and then I wake up like, oh, that was just a dream where I thought I was having a seizure. Or there would be, hmm, hmm, yeah, I've had dreams to where I'm dreaming and I see myself have a seizure, but that'd be like dreaming I'm having a seizure. I wasn't all the way sure on what you were, how you were saying it, because I wasn't understanding if you're saying like, have I had a dream of me having a seizure? That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, basically, like in the dream, in any perception, did you think you were having a did you cool? I mean, yeah. Did you have a have a seizure in the dream? Not literally have a seizure, or did you think you had a seizure? Because yeah, either one fits. Yeah, like
For some reason, um, I had a seizure one time, and an earthquake happened at the same time. So I was wondering if I actually had the seizure, or did the seizure just happen at the same time or coincidentally around the time as the earthquake? Because when the earthquake hit, it felt like the middle of my bed was sinking. It felt that much. Um, it felt like I fell in a little pit in the middle of my bed, and then I jumped up and I looked around, and when I looked around, I was just confused as what to happen. Then I heard my phone chirp and say there was a 4.7 earthquake. So I was like,
oh,
it felt like the center of my bed like collapsed into it, like it fell into a hole. I jumped up and I was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And
mm.
that's what it was.
how big is the 4.7, like 4.6? Like, how
4.7
often
is it's pretty bad. I mean, it could be bad in certain areas. Um,
how often is something like that coming along? Is that uh an unusually strong thing, or
no, those ones are when we feel like we might get a big one soon. That's what those make us think. But then there's little tremors where you just feel a little shaking and you're like, it's nothing. Ceiling fan, just a little swaying, just a little bit, not too much. Um, yeah. But the ones that are like 4 point something where our house is shaking, and like I said, where I felt mine, um, where I felt like I was sinking in the middle of the bed. Yeah, those
We
were
had
bad.
an earthquake in Philly one time. Kevin, do you remember that?
Yeah, that woke me up. I remember that I thought my air conditioner was falling out.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I think they said
what?
it was a 4 point something.
Oh, that was
And
a 4 point something? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like when Pookie said 4 point something, I feel like I remember the news saying it was that like
Yeah.
some, but it I remember the earthquake hitting Philly, and I'm just like the first thing I'm like, is this an earthquake? And then I basically text my cousin and my best friends like, did we just have an earthquake? And it's like, yep.
What was
Like
it,
all
like
of
30
Philly had an
seconds long?
earthquake.
Because it's a shame. I almost like, because I was asleep and I missed it. And I wanted to kind of see that.
It was a short one. It was a short one, but it was like big enough that all of Philly felt it.
Yeah. Yeah, we get those every few years, just they're not very strong, but it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Look, look at that, Pookie. We get earthquakes too.
California, and it's often and it's annoying. Because sometimes you'll just see a little bottle of water, you'll just see the top of the water move like that, and you're just like why the hell are we having earthquakes for no reason? Those silent ones that a lot of people will miss because they're driving or something, or they're just don't notice. Those are like 3 point and 2 point stuff. But the fours, they're noticeable, and they're around 2 to 3 seconds. Not too long.
There was an
Yeah,
earthquake off the Space Coast like not too long ago over by like Cape Canaveral. And my sister said she felt it where she lived. I wonder how big that was. I've got to look that up.
She lives over here.
No, over here
Um,
in Florida, like right off of the it was the the what's it called? The center, the source of the earthquake was right off the coast of the um, Kennedy Space Center. I always thought that earthquakes don't happen in Florida, and apparently they do. Um,
Mm.
who knew?
um,
And really small.
yeah, out here, it's real in California. The earthquakes are noticeable, and just waiting for that big one. Um, it's been 30 years. I was a few months old when it happened. Oh no, so it's been 36 something years and some change. I'm born in August. It happened in October of 1989. Um, and that one was bad. San Francisco, it was really bad for San Francisco. Like hills, like cars sliding down hills and buildings falling onto, houses crumbling into the streets and so on. I don't remember all of it. I was 2 months old. So,
well, if it does come, I want you and yours to be safe, Pookie.
yeah, the thing about being in the desert where my mom is, um, it's not much out here, especially high buildings. Um, I'm used to the city where there's buildings and stuff next door to you. Out here, they're still building. Yeah, the
Bring your
guy
kids
who
here.
stayed
Yeah,
who
I would
stayed near
imagine.
us said 20 months ago this area was dirt. We're in a rural area. There's some orchards not too far from us. I'm out in the boring area of the country. Um, I don't know how people get used to this little city stuff. Um, yeah, there's no tall buildings in this city. Um,
Comes with age sometimes too. just like I'm tired of the city.
I love the city, man.
I totally get that. It's a little much sometimes. Food's good, but you know, I could totally do the rural, you know, tough word to say, thing. You know, I could totally just, live in a cabin somewhere.
I mean, I could do that if it was by choice. Um, I was forced to come out here. Well, not by like physically forced. Uh,
We
Yeah.
understand why though.
Yeah.
like who wants
And
to be out here in the desert? Like,
Jeff.
oh man, Jeff loves it out here. I love it out here. I mean, it's great. It's California. Um, the medical system is horrible over here. Um,
Mhm.
I got a comment here though on the deja vu at night. One says, "Yeah, I've also woken up with an aura impostictal. Never any concrete evidence of a seizure except for having bitten my tongue once, but I suspect I have nocturnal ones since I often wake up with a spit-soaked pillow, like soaked. I mean, I drool. I wouldn't say spit-soaked pillow. Maybe a little spot here and there. Got one here. It says solutions for fatigue problems.
I said, is there a solution for fatigue problems?
Yeah, beats well by nature's made.
That
It's
won't help me.
you don't know. You gotta try it. Shout out to Nature's Made.
I'm on Excopri. That won't help me.
Man, you never
Dang.
know. You gotta try it.
I swear.
My doctor said, all right, the only way you're gonna get through it is if we pretty much keep you in a coma.
Oh damn.
I thought I thought we didn't like doctors. Like, come on, man. With diet and exercise is the key. I'm standing by that, even though I'm eating a Snickers bar.
Um, what types of exercises do you do and how soon? I mean, how often?
I don't exercise much, but
Oh
I
my.
I try to walk. I mean, I walk a lot, but
Walking is the best exercise. I walk any. I try to walk everywhere if I can get my independence to go walking somewhere.
Mhm.
Out here it's pretty easy to walk because there's these big long roads. Um, so going places like me and my mom will go to the store. Uh, we do that about twice a week, and the store is about a mile there, a mile back. Decent 30 minute walk, I guess. 30 there, 30 back. Uh, yeah, nothing's close in this town. Used to being city boy where you got a store and a restaurant on the corner and a grocery store down the street. Out here, you need a car to get places unless you catch the bus.
A lot of times it depends what part of the city you live in too, because
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you live closer to the downtown area, then you're good.
yeah,
They're where everything is.
yeah.
There's not many corner stores. I haven't seen one yet. A corner store out here. Um,
Maybe you can build one.
with
That'll
what
be the
money?
job.
Yeah, right. Give me some money, I'll be able to store for sure. It is very profitable in this environment in particular. But I got something here that says solutions for fatigue problems. First time posting here, I read quite a few experiences of fatigue problems that stems from epilepsy or from medication. I was wondering if some of you have suggestions to improve the situation. A little backstory: I started having seizures when I was 13. Ever since, I have problems with fatigue. The years 13 to 22, I was able to function properly, sleeping around 14 hours a day and zero concentration, and unable to do physical activity. My max was about biking for 5 minutes. During this time, I spend a lot of time going to appointments and looking for a solution. Tried different medications and a lot of diagnostic tests. It was time. It was a time of frustration, and the outcome of the tests were always of no result. I also have diabetes and developed severe depression, which made it hard to say which issues were caused by what. Around 23 years old, I finally experienced an improvement after many different epileptic medications. I was somewhat able to function on oxycarbazepine. At first, I thought it would slowly get better. Now I'm 31 and things are better, but I am still constantly exhausted and my life and work balance isn't good. I am still not able to participate in sports, nor am I able to slowly improve it over time. For the last couple of years, I was kind of done with constantly looking for improvement before I because I was done with the constantly being disappointed and my hopes getting crushed again and again. But I have gotten to a point where I want to try again to do something. If you have a suggestion that works for you, I have a suggestion. B12 by Nature's Made. Shout out to Nature's Made. Yeah. Haven't had a focal in over 6 months.
Congratulations! Yay! Party.
Okay,
Very
don't
good.
congratulate me yet. Hold on. It hasn't been 6 months. Next month will be 6 months.
That's
Yeah.
still
Okay.
good. It's still party.
Yeah.
Party worthy. Every little bit counts for us.
It does. Take take the little victories where you can.
Yeah. The only comment says my psychiatrist prescribed me uh armodafinil for fatigue. It helps a decent bit, enough that I can definitely tell when I don't take it. Okay.
It's different for me because I'm constantly I wouldn't say constantly, but when my medication switches, I have to adjust to a new medication. So there I have to adjust to the new fatigue or whatever. And then if I have an episode, a seizure attack or something, I'm going to be fatigued then too. So it's a constant struggle. I guess that's happened when you're medication resistant.
Yeah. Any suggestions, you guys, for fatigue problems? One, two, none, maybe.
Like to just get up and move sometimes. You're going to be tired during the day. Um, Maybe just do 20 push-ups. Maybe that'll, get just something to get your blood flowing.
Yeah.
Get a 4-year-old.
Oh man. Yeah.
Take care of a
Get a baby.
4-year-old. Take
Mhm.
care of a 4-year-old. She'll keep you moving.
Get you a little baby.
Imagine.
A little baby that does not want to sit still. Definitely keep you tired and it'll keep you moving at the same time. Best of both worlds. How's chasing that little baby going, Angel?
She's doing good tonight. She's behaving. Oh well, she's pretty good on always behaving, but right now she's just playing her game. She's quiet right here, so I'm allowed to be on Zoom tonight.
Okay, well, since you're on Zoom tonight, I got something for you. It says, how can I tell apart a nocturnal seizure from parasomnia? For the past months, I've been feeling post-ictalish every day, even though my seizures were perfectly controlled. I set up a camera to monitor my sleep, and I found out that once or twice per night, 1 hour after falling asleep, I do weird things like sitting in bed, turning the light switch on, looking at my phone, looking at my watch, and stuff like that. I don't remember most of them unless I see them on camera footage in the next morning. My mom tells me that they were confusional arousals or sleepwalking, but I have the entire day resembles, but I have the feeling I have the entire day resembles post-ictal state so much that I can not believe they are not seizures. Do you have any similar experiences? I read the first comment. One said,
Right there, they said it right there. If you feel that post-ictal state, most likely you had that seizure, and it could have been a nocturnal one.
Mark.
Uh, something to add to anybody's seizure data collection um, arsenal. We always recommend get an Anycam for the night, but on top of that, wear a sleep tracking and heart rate monitoring smartwatch of some kind, whether just a fitness thing, a Fitbit type, or a full-blown Apple Watch, but something to check and see is, does your um, odd behavior line up with a significant spike in your heart rate? Because if you're asleep, if it's a parasomnia, if you're acting out your dreams, you're still asleep. Your heart rate, um, on the other hand, when you have a nocturnal seizure, I've been told by my epileptologist that approximately 80% of nocturnal seizures are also associated with a significant spike in the patient's heart rate. So, do you see both of those together? And then, if you do see both of those together, on top of also feeling the postictal, like Angel says, the day after, then that's just another absolute, yes, it was a nocturnal seizure, you know, postictal, the day after, odd movements on a video camera at night, and um, uh, heart rate spike um, on my sleep tracker are the three that have always reliably told me, if it's not something where chewed up tongue, mouth, and sore muscles from convulsing also like make clear. Um, so uh, yeah, that's been very helpful in that, because that was something that was very nerve-wracking when I was first trying to figure out how to deal with all of this is if I'm having nocturnal seizures, like they said at the EMU, how the hell do I know when it's happened? Um, and yeah, those three.
Parasomnia. I need to look up before I.
Parasomnia is like sleepwalking or acting out, uh, physically acting out a dream, movements and stuff that complex movements that would otherwise be seen only when a person is awake, but are being acted out when someone is fully asleep. Like sleepwalking is a form of parasomnia. Somnambulance is the word for sleepwalking, by the way, if you're wondering. Yes. A parasomnia,
Huh?
somnambulance. The more uh 4+ syllable words you know, the better when you're trying to sound smart.
The more syllables, the better.
Yes.
Beg to differ.
Well, precision in communication is something that's always been very important to me, and I suspect probably pathologically so. It's probably an autism uh, trait of mine, but yeah, I've always kind of sought out the most interesting words.
I miss my old vocabulary.
We got to start a book club and start trying to work our brains and work that back up.
I do have a post here, you guys. It says vertigo and coordination issues. Just wondered if anyone else has this as a result of epilepsy and or meds. Was a bad couple of weeks a while back. Thought it was due to increasing the lamotrigine, but I don't know. It improved, though not gone. Today is back with a vengeance and no obvious reason. Meds have been stable for a couple months now. I don't know if it's epilepsy, if it's an epilepsy thing or not. If it's hellish. I lost. Oh no, I looked drunk. Can't walk in a straight line, bumping into walls. Couldn't lift a kettle to make tea. You know the things are bad if a Brit can't make a cup of tea. Cuppa. Um, from cup of tea. Cup is spelled Cuppa. I just found that really
Yeah, I was gonna say cuppa. I
yeah.
mean, why did they even say tea? That's cuppa. It's implied that it's tea.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry. It does not say tea. It just says cuppa.
okay, yeah. You
Cuppa.
see? Yeah. Half of my
Sometimes I
family
read
is
too
from
fast and
Great
I
Britain.
paraphrase before I get to the next word, and then I go back and fix it. But it says, things are bad if a Brit can't make a cuppa. Had a bum shuffle down, had a bum shuffle down the stairs and crawl back to them because I'm stepping into thin air rather than making contact with the floor. Not dignified. When I was when it was this bad, I went to the GP who just shrugged and said, end quote, talk to your neuro. Have tried, but I'm in a NHS holding pattern. That's basically computer says no. Struggling to type this, scared of not going away. Scared of it not going away. It wasn't a question. It was just curious if anybody else has went through this besides them. Um,
Well, that's kind of a question. Has anybody else gone through this besides them?
Vertigo, it can land in both medication and seizures. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
I
You
feel like
know.
mine has gotten worse as the time has gone by, but I don't know if that's because all of my meds have progressively gotten more and higher, like higher dosages and more meds. So is that why? or is it because my
Stronger
seizures
men.
are worse? You know, is it? Don't know.
Vertigo is a weird condition. You know, it really is. My mom gets vertigo attacks just out of nowhere. She has no health problems. Just all of a sudden, you know, she can't talk for like 8 hours. Um, yeah, I'll assume the same, that it could easily be affected by medication. Um, I would look into it. Uh, yeah, it's just a very strange disorder. Uh, I don't know what else to add.
Yeah, many medicines affect that. So, like I think even Lamotrigine mentions it's rare, but you can get it because there's also many medications that also say loss of balance and stuff like that too, but they won't directly say like stuff like vertigo.
Yeah, like dizziness and loss of balance seems to imply like a vertigo sensation, but
Yeah.
they don't want to commit. I think that maybe there might be specific definitions for what constitutes the side effect vertigo in the FDA, and they like there might be a degree of intensity or something that they may not be falling under. But I definitely get what I describe as vertigo from um, something. I attribute it to my meds. Um, but yeah, like riding in a car and stopping and starting and turning and stuff can kind of get a little unsettling. I don't know. And yet I like roller coasters. It doesn't make sense. Um, but speaking of which, I might be going to SeaWorld tomorrow, which could be interesting. I might be testing out the first VNS roller coaster ride. I checked. I cleared it with the VNS therapy people, and they said uh, worst case scenario, uh, the heart rate spike might register on the uh, uh, generator, and it might trigger an auto stim, just like an extra dose, as they call it, dose, which I thought was an interesting term to use.
Yeah.
But um, other than that, like no harm. So, I've accidentally zapped myself enough to not really be afraid of that. The roller coaster is more significant than that VNS sensation there. So, um, yeah, we'll see.
It says living with the rarest form of epilepsy. Ecstatic, ecstatic epilepsy is when the person experience an undescribed feeling of bliss, pleasure, and euphoric feeling. People with this type of epilepsy are often temporal lobe epilepsy patients with focal seizures. It's absolutely heartbreaking because you could never get a diagnosis fast because while only 50 people were reported in the medical literature since 2016, it's almost impossible to find epileptic people aware of it. Since childhood, I have suffered from this. And musicogenic seizures, another rare type of reflexive seizure, Um, Often thinking I used to visit Heaven's Gate every time I have an episode. I recently discovered that not all people with epilepsy experience this, so I decided to share how my epileptic episode feels. Firstly, the type of seizure is deeply connected to the religion, emotions, and physical sensation. It's theorized that most spiritual and religious figures through history had this seizure. It starts with typical aura seizures. Aura triggers of feeling a strong sensation of deja vu before I start experiencing the ecstatic part. I feel like I've gotten taken to the past and grasped the knowledge of everything in the world, and a strong emotion of feeling certain and completely obtaining the answer of something so big. My chest starts to feel empty, like I have nothing to worry about. My skin becomes so light, like I have no weight, and mostly inside my head, everything I was thinking about stops as stops. It's like I have no experience that shapes who I am. If you want to understand what I mean, imagine sniffing a perfume from your childhood that has a deep memory tied to it. You will feel strong nostalgia. Take that feeling and double it times 1,000. That's when ecstatic seizure is. We don't experience fear or doom like the other types of seizures. We experience pleasure. My seizure ends completely, leaving me tired and want to know what I experienced. End quote. Was it true? End quote. Where was I? And the most frustrating part is not being able to understand or explain what I felt. Sure, you could make your brain understand how felt happiness in particular moment, but this one exactly is undescribable, and like you are no longer a human being. There are a lot of neurologists describing it on Google, and a good amount of research was made about it. Search it up if you didn't understand my words because I'm bad at explaining, but I will answer any of your questions. Just felt like sharing this because it has poor representation around the internet. I'm diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy and I have focal seizures. That is triggered by music, religious books. Only the Quran though. Only the Quran though, because I grew up in a Muslim household. That's all, and I hope I didn't yap too much. And I hope this post gets a lot of people because I could really use a few. I could really use a few kind words. Yeah, I've never heard of that kind of epilepsy, ecstatic epilepsy. Um, they did say something about musicogenic epilepsy, and I've heard of that, and that's from like sounds and stuff, and music, of course. Yeah, I think the person that told me about that was like it's more from the bass of the music and not necessarily music in particular that triggers them. Uh,
I think I recall that, and I think they said that like the bass and also the binaural beats that, where the frequencies are slightly different, and
yeah,
that difference produces a uh, frequency uh, below human perception, but it's still there in the brain's electrical waves, you know. Um, I don't know, but another thing, like with musicogenic, I wouldn't necessarily think that all of them are related to a specific sound, a specific low sound of the bass necessarily, because there's a lot of emotional connection associated with the experience of listening to music, and that uh, I mean emotional changes could be part of what's triggering in those cases. And it might not necessarily all be the sound, it might be the um emotional shifts produced by the sound. Um,
Yeah, that is interesting. That uh, yeah, I don't think it's the bass either. Just, I mean, it has to be something, some kind of emotional stimulation. So, because that goes right to the brain, and yeah, some kind of
It's like a
uh,
vibration, I think, or something.
I don't know. I would think it's more stimulation of a certain part of the brain, because that's basically what epilepsy is. It's excitation of brain nerves, and uh, uh, I'll look into whatever you know this is, but
yeah, yeah. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on that. There was something I recall reading about earlier this year. There was a study that was published by a team of researchers that were studying how the brain processes music, and they played music to patients in an fMRI machine, and they found that there are two distinct but parallel circuits in the brain that are engaged when a person is listening to music. And one of them is assessing um, the um, pitch, the harmonic pitch of the melody compared to the bass frequency on a vibrational, you know, um, sense, how the harmonic overtones all um, relate to each other, and the other was engaged in predicting the whoa, sorry, cat fight right over there. The second circuit was engaged in predicting um, the next upcoming measures of the music that is being listened to. And um, if I'm recalling correctly, um, I mean, I know that part, the two distinct circuits was correct, but if I recall correctly, I think that they also found that the um, it was perceived as pleasurable to the listener when um, the music being played matched the um, the or agreed with the harmonic um, perception, basically was in key or whatever, so to speak. But the brain's prediction of the next upcoming measures was um, slightly off, slightly incorrect when, basically when the music kind of surprised the listener a little bit, went in a direction that they were not thinking themselves, which I thought was really interesting, like parallel circuits, analyzing pitch and the I guess predictability. In a sense, I guess that could be seen as a measure of creativity in the music, how predictable it is as a proxy for generic.
I'm looking up this is Chat GTP, but why does music trigger seizures? The emotional circuits, the limbic system responds strongly to certain music, and the auditory processing pathways, rhythm and pitch patterns activate neurons in a way that can trigger abnormal firing. And the trigger is usually not loudness, but meaning or emotional response.
Songs that have a particular emotional significance might be a
Yeah, that like
give
this person was
trigger.
saying that they were having seizures when it comes to the Quran. And that's a Bible, right?
Mhm.
Oh, don't call it the Bible.
Oh
It
yeah,
is
right.
their holy
I just
book.
realized that.
Yeah, it is the scripture for Islam. Yes,
There you go.
but
Um,
um,
yeah.
yes,
Uh, it's the book they read. I put it there.
holy
And
book, holy
um,
book.
this person was saying that this one make them have seizures um, because they grew up in a Muslim household. So um, that kind of sucks. Do you think that could be like if they grew up not liking the Quran, or they grew up against it, and then it triggers it now that they're
It could go either way. Strong faith will elicit strong emotion when reading, the
yeah,
of their faith.
That's
gotcha.
that's the wacky thing about the brain. If for some reason this passage or song has a significant imprint with this person, and I don't know why. It just strikes a chord. There's like a little bit of psychology in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Go through
The
a few of these
limbic
comments. One
system,
says,
the isn't that part of the temporal lobe?
one of the comments just says, "Can I swap impending doom for this one?" Kind of sounds like a brief mushroom trip. Another comment says, "I have reading epilepsy, which is supposedly very rare. Apparently, only 100 people have it." Wow,
Mm.
reading epilepsy. Gotta look that up. Reading epilepsy.
Do they not elaborate further?
Um, they did not elaborate further. This is why I had to look it up. I must know.
Yeah, that
Reading
sounds a
epilepsy.
little.
It says reading epilepsy is the rarest form of reflex epilepsy triggered specifically by reading, leading to seizures that can significantly impact daily life. Reading epilepsy is characterized by seizures that are precipitated by reading or engaging in language related activities. Is classified as a reflex seizure, meaning that the seizure occurs in the response to the specific stimulus. In case In this case, reading. The condition is more common in adolescents and young adults, particularly in males age 12 to 20. So, I mean, most of us, I mean, we're on a lot of that range, but that totally sucks.
It sucked trying to go through
Yeah.
school with that.
Yeah, around times kids would be actually reading, so this would be a problem. Another one says, once again, I've learned something new from this. Thanks for sharing. Another comment says, OMG, I was born and raised in a Muslim country and Muslim household. They play the Athan from the masjids every time. I'm sorry, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. They play the Athan from the masjids every time it's time to pray, as a reminder. If you live there, that must be such an inconvenience. You probably have like 5 seizures a day. My sympathy goes for you. You'll fight. You'll fight this win with the rest of us. Fight the win with the rest of us. Someone said I can really relate to this. These are interesting. Someone says my auras are euphoric as well. I didn't know if this was unusual. My neurologist didn't seem to care about knowing about what I felt during them. He just cared that my medication worked. I get visions as well. Another comment. I'll just read this one more because I was all
I
over
think
the
if the
place.
neurologist doesn't care, it's trying to get a new neurologist.
Swap the impending doom. Oh yeah, definitely. So interesting. Thanks for sharing. For the last several years, I've had flips of like just intense euphoria, feeling where it makes me laugh almost. I would describe it to my husband in quote, oh yeah, no, when I get so excited, happy, I want to throw up for no reason. And it only lasts for a quick second or so, thinking maybe these were normal. Most of the time, I get an impending doom feelings and absent seizures, but since starting the meds, I haven't had any of those happy feelings. LOL. Would rather much those though. I do have something else here, you guys. It says anyone else has given them a end quote permanent injury. Not sure how to tag this since not sure what to tag this since I'm not exactly in quote ranting per se. More like awareness of potential injuries, a question about injuries. But yeah, one of my seizures last year in September had me fall and seize against concrete, which injured my shoulder. I had these in quote flare ups multiple times throughout the couple months after, and nothing could be diagnosed by physiotherapists or whatnot because whenever I had an appointment, it wasn't during the in quote flare up itself. So there wasn't any proof of anything. Anytime I went to A&E and it'd stop. A&E. Anytime I went to A&E
The
to
British version of ER.
oh, okay. Anytime I went to A&E, it'd stop and snap and crackle, and all I feel, the pain fade, which unfortunately happened before any X-rays to look at the shoulder while in the middle of the in quote flare up. This Thursday, when it happened again at my local med center, told me to sit down and wait. While I was in agony, mind you, while they checked to see if I could come into the physiotherapist for a quick look while it was in a flare up. Waited for over an hour, never heard back from them. Went to the A&E instead, and it turns out after a couple X-rays and a lot of nice drugs that I've been dislocating my shoulder ever since that seizure. Diagnosis was chronic instability of my right shoulder from the fall, um, leading to weakness and dislocation. I'll most likely need surgery to correct it. Fun stuff. I'm almost a year free of seizures, and they're still hunting me. LOL. What the hell? Epilepsy? Give a guy a break. Anyone else ever had any permanent or needed surgery or rehab injuries from a seizure? It has me very curious. Now I finally got the mystery solved for my own. I will read one comment before I tell you what mine was. Oh, man. Just last week, I fractured my vertebrae. I guess we'll see how that goes long term. That sucks. I have nothing on that level. I've hurt myself, and I think the worst would be chip my tooth. Yeah, I chipped my tooth. I fell in a hole that I dug for foundation to a patio. I mean that it was 2 feet wide and 2 feet deep. Just enough space for me to fall in it. Right after I was done. Yeah.
Yeah, I broke my collarbone a couple years ago. I managed to get out of bed, fall down the stairs, and then wake up back in my bed with my roommate saying, "What the hell happened?" Because there's blood all over the place. But I now have metal in my shoulder connecting my collarbone and a screw there.
Did it hurt?
I mean, I don't remember any of it, so not really. And
Well,
luckily, the surgery didn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
I'll say it again or show it. Right there.
Did it
Floor
hurt?
testing concrete because of a seizure.
I got something similar, but it wasn't from a seizure. It was from a pedal bike with no brakes.
Yeah.
And
And I had
being
a bridge. I
drunk
had a
and
bridge
dumb.
put in. The front teeth, the front 3 teeth right there. A bridge was put in, and another seizure broke that bridge.
Oh, man.
And I dislocated my shoulder before too, and multiple fractures in my foot that never healed right. Had to go to physical therapy and everything. Um,
Yeah, I
think
went
they
to physical therapy with my shoulder. And now I can't reach my shoulders where, like, as you said, as my other shoulder.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same way no more. Like one shoulder can go all the way this way, and then this one I can't do that.
Yeah, that's basically the same way with me.
Oh, I thought you meant like touch your shoulder physically. I was
Nah,
wondering
the
how that was for
dislocation.
you guys. Mm.
But yeah, my this happened during the seizure. I walked on to the basically I left this. We were going out one day, a family trip, and I just stepped out the front door. And from the top step straight to concrete.
How many steps were
And
there?
three concrete steps, but
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't a staircase, like a long one.
yeah. I fell down staircases, trust me.
Mm. Sorry to hear that.
Huh?
I said sorry to hear that.
I think we all been through our own mishaps,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. But this one specifically, I definitely remember because the one tooth got stuck in completely came out. And the next two, next to it, the nerves were killed on impact.
Mm.
and that's how hard I hit the cement.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I was lucky that some random people saw me faceplant on that bike. And then my wonderful friends never try to come in contact with me.
I wish I could say it was from a cool bike incident or something like that, and not a seizure.
Yeah.
I was drunk as fuck, and I was like, "Oh, let's go get some cigarettes. This bike will be fun. I don't need brakes."
I've rode bikes without brakes. It wasn't safe. I did it though, but yeah, wasn't safe.
And
I got some
yeah,
more.
bridges aren't cheap.
Yeah, I got. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I have teeth that I don't know if it's called a bridge or not, but I have fake teeth that I will randomly show people, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
I got some more comments here. One says I busted my eye during one 3 years ago, and a big gash emerged above the right eye. It was gushing out pretty fierce, from what I understand, and they had to do stitches, but because of the awkward location of the cut, and also my postictal behavior most likely didn't help. I have been told when I see an ambulance, I turn into a runner. I have kind of a droop now, stitches on my chin from a laceration during another postictal. At least the scar from the stitches is almost gone now, but for a minute, I looked like Frankenstein. It's funny because it said I turned into a runner, but I'm assuming that's what it says because runner is actually a person running. It's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well,
say.
ambulances are expensive. I went less than a mile when I started having my seizures again, and they cost me $8,000.
Ugh.
But I never paid it, so I'm like, yeah, fuck those guys.
Uh,
But I also, to add to that comment, I had a seizure and busted my head on uh bed frame, and I had to get like 5 staples in my head.
Staples, not stitches.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear
I
that.
think it depends. I think where you like your lacerations are is whether you get staples or stitches.
Mine just seems like all skull, same spot. I mean, same areas. Um, I will just keep reading these comments because I'm interested in injuries. One says, I always manage to injure my right shoulder during a seizure, and now it just pops out of socket if I move it incorrectly. Also, not sure if this is anyone's permanent, but back in August, I broke my right ankle and my right foot at the same time because of a seizure. Not sure how exactly, and I still walk with a limp and will have to walk and go to physical therapy at probably at least 6 months. Another one says chronic instability of left shoulder. Normally I have 90% function with it. Another one says chip my wisdom tooth. Another one says I had a seizure and dislocated both sides of my jaw. Now it aches and pops anytime I open my mouth. It makes going to the dentist extremely painful, having to keep my mouth open that long. The doctor also told me this will make my jaw more likely to dislocate in the future. It hasn't happened since my first time, knock on wood, which was 7 years ago, but I still get pain and popping in my jaw constantly.
Yeah, my shoulder will pop a lot and can randomly just ache for a day.
Yeah, I fell and I had a scab right here, and it's like maybe 4 to 5 inches long, like the whole cheek right here felt like. So yeah, I had big scab right here from just falling and like cascading on the cement.
Yeah, I kind of have that from that bike incident.
Ouch.
I literally had road rash all over my face.
I'm sorry to hear that. Ugh, that sounds
Yeah,
rough.
now I have, because I busted my teeth, I have a lot of scar like tissue in my lips.
Few more comments. One says, I fell out of the passenger side of the car in the hospital parking lot during my postictal state. Muscle memory causes me to reach up and grab the handle at the top of the roof, and I ended up dislocating my shoulder. It pops out sometimes, and it's easy to get sore, but luckily didn't require surgery like some people here. Another one says, my sister had the same exact injury. She had multiple surgeries. She has had a different type of epilepsy than me. This one, what is vertebrae? This one says, yes, I fractured 5 vertebrae in my spine during a tonic-clonic in 2023. My back
It's your
is
spine.
Your back.
my
Yeah.
back is effed up. It already was with degenerative disc disease, osteoporosis, scoliosis, but now it's finished. But now it's finished off. I have a lot of other medical issues though. Without them, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.